Gentleman from California, Mr. Huffman.
I thank the chair. Administrator Criswell, I want to spend my time asking you about something that is really at the core of FEMA's work, and that is the question of who gets FEMA disaster relief and who doesn't. And let me first say that I am a big believer in the mission of your agency. I think it's one of the great things that our federal government does to make sure that that FEMA disaster relief is there for devastated communities, no matter where they are, no matter what their politics are. And I want to commend you and your colleagues for the dedication that you bring to this critical work. I represent the North Bay and the North Coast of California, so I've seen firsthand what a difference that disaster relief can make for devastated communities. But I have also seen what happens when there is a devastating natural disaster that doesn't quite trigger FEMA disaster relief, and I've seen how inequitable that can be. My district includes a lot of rural, less affluent communities as well. And we have an equity problem when it comes to this mechanism. We leave a lot of rural, less affluent communities behind, and with the climate crisis bringing us more and bigger disasters, we really need to tackle this equity problem now to get ahead of it. So I told you a little about my district. We've got earthquakes, we've got tsunamis, we've got wildfires. It is sort of the poster child for this problem because FEMA's arbitrary and inflexible financial damage threshold can leave devastated communities behind. Give you an example. In 2017, the Helena fire burned 72 homes in Junction City, Trinity County, one of the smallest, poorest rural counties in California. That took out 15% of the county's housing stock. 15% of a county that has modest homes, so the property values were not high enough to reach the threshold. And of course, the county government lacks resources. This is a struggling community. And so they didn't get that FEMA disaster relief. In December 2022, a 6.4 magnitude earthquake struck the small town of Rio Del in Humboldt County. Took out about 25% of the city's housing stock, estimated $26 million in overall damage, a total of $35 million in damage to the county. But again, this is a rural, struggling county, didn't meet the threshold. You know, if you took the same disaster and it happened in an affluent place, Pebble Beach, any number of other places, maybe took out a small fraction of the homes, you'd have no problem triggering federal disaster relief. But these communities were left without that support. The flip side of that, in 2011, there was a massive earthquake in Japan that triggered a tsunami that just wrecked the Crescent City Harbor in Del Norte County in my district. The damage was about $50 million, again, just short of the threshold to get disaster relief. But we got lucky because that same tsunami also hit a harbor in Santa Cruz, further south in the state, where some very fancy yachts were parked. And because those yachts enabled the damage tally to go a little higher, Crescent City did qualify for federal disaster relief. But imagine if some of those fancy boats had not been parked in the harbor at that time, we would have been left with nothing. So, Administrator Criswell, it seems to me that this is fundamentally unfair. And again, with more disasters coming, we really need to provide more flexible, equitable ways for devastated communities to qualify for federal disaster relief from FEMA. And my staff will be presenting you with a letter today. I'm asking you to work with us on this important issue. I believe you have existing authority that would let you do a rulemaking to provide that flexibility and equity. But if you need new authority, additional authority, I hope you will please let us know, and we will get to work to make it happen. Let me just leave it there and ask for your response, and I'm really hoping to hear a commitment to work with me on this critical issue.
Representative, you make some very good points, and it really does show why one of my priorities has been equitably delivering our programs. When it comes to declaring a disaster, we have a number of factors that we take into consideration, whether the state has the capacity to support it, not just the local jurisdictions, but also the amount of insurance and the amount of damage. And it can be very complex. And that is why we are continuing to work on ways that we can improve the way we're delivering our programs, but also better understand the barriers that communities, just as you mentioned, are experiencing to being able to get the assistance that they need in order to properly recover from these disasters. And so you have my commitment to continue to find ways that we can improve the way we're delivering our programs and ensuring that everybody who is eligible for our programs has access to that assistance.
All right, thank you. Yield back.